La 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 la.
Doobie-doo-boopie-doo.
Remember when we used to scat all the time? Squiddy.
now. Doobie-doo-ba-ba-ba-da-doo.
I feel like if I was at work, if I wanted to get you going, all I'd have to do is walk by and go, get it, dude, and you just jump right in.
Yeah, I do. I don't know. There's something about scatting that I enjoy thoroughly.
Yeah, I know.
I actually was part of my plan when I went to the Michael Bublé show was to. I'd seen in a different segment, like online, that he did this thing where he would go, "Hey, is there anybody here who wants to sing?"
Oh, what's a sing?
Yeah,
not scat. Okay.
No, sing. And I just thought, if he does that, then I'm going to have to raise my hand. And then my plan was to ask him, see if we could do a scat battle.
That's a lot of thought that you put into that made up situation. And also you're banking on him being cool with a lot.
I mean, it was a big risk. Are we ready to talk about this stuff right now, or should we start the show?
I'm Adam Bush.
And I am Christopher Munch.
We're at my house in Tulsa, Oklahoma. I have a question for you, Chris.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, this is
starting strong here. Just right out the gate.
This episode is an introduction to the podcast. Welcome. Probably if you're listening to this podcast, you are our friend. Or I mean, I have some followers, but you got a lot of followers.
I'm got a few. Yeah, sure. We're working on it.
On the TikToks, which is amazing because you are the least what's the word? Technological person.
Oh yeah, me trying to post on TikTok is a whole adventure in it.
Who posts for you?
My wife does mostly.
Okay. I'm not,
but even she's not technological.
No, I was gonna say I love Lisa, but I'm not like looking at her as like, a big TikTok girl.
Yeah, it's an ordeal every time. Pretty much, we're getting better at it. We've posted, 40 videos now, and we're getting the hang of it.
We're finally
starting to get the hang of it.
Yeah. What if we had a system? What I was going to ask you. Oh, shoot. I forgot what it was. Oh, this is a real question because this episode is the first one and it's an introduction. Yeah. Just an intro because that's what you need in a podcast. Christopher Munch.
Yes.
Was it your heart's dream to work at the same place for 22 years? Is it anyone's heart's dream
to work at the same place
for 22 years?
Hey, you find a good place.
Yeah.
And you give everything you have to it.
But did it have to be Walmart that you?
Yeah. Walmart, I'd have some stock options.
Oh man, you'd probably be doing pretty good.
Yeah, if it was Walmart, I'd be.
Yeah, get that big Walmart plant in Bentonville, real close to us. We live in Tulsa. If you're watching this,
yeah,
Tulsa, Oklahoma. Make fun of it all you want. It's a wonderful city.
Hey, I'm not making fun of it. No, I've heard wonderful things about Bentonville. Never been there, but I've heard.
No, I was saying wonderful things about Tulsa.
Oh no,
people make fun of Tulsa.
Tulsa's amazing.
Yeah, Tulsa is amazing.
Very cool.
We should have an episode where we just talk about all the amazing things about Tulsa.
We should.
Yeah. Can you name one amazing thing about Tulsa?
I mean, so many. They're flooding my brain right now. The statue of the oil guy.
That's what you picked? Our big oil man. What's that guy called? The Tulsa Driller.
The Tulsa Driller.
Yeah.
I didn't even know his name. That's how important he is.
I think that's what it is. Isn't that right, Gary?
No, I think Tulsa is the perfect sized city.
It is.
I think it's a perfect sized city.
It really is.
It's not so big that it's like traffic and all this stuff.
Yeah. But we got a great
it's
airport.
Not small that, we've got cool shows that come through.
Yeah.
It's great.
And we've got all sizes. I don't think people think about that because you've got like small places like the Vanguard, which could have like a real small band. You got the Canes. I saw the Killers at the Canes.
Yeah. What the
Bob
heck?
Dylan does the Canes.
Yeah.
And then you got the BOK where you can go see
Michael Bublé,
which we're going to talk about in the next episode.
That's right.
You used to work at a church.
I did. I used to work at a church for 22 years.
This is a good foundation for us.
Baseline.
If you want to know about us, we spend a lot of time.
We're church guys.
We are church guys.
We're church guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Grew up in the church.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah. You didn't grow up in the church?
When I said that, it sounded like I was like, well, let's not be silly. Like, I don't want to be counted as someone. Yes, I grew up in the church.
No, yeah, I grew up.
Most of my set is about growing up in some sort of church.
Yeah, so
atmosphere.
I had the incredible fortune of being able to find my gifts in the church. Like, I mean, like how many people say like they learned how to perform and do comedy stuff and sketches and characters like at a church. That seems like that doesn't fit.
A lot of people have that, can say that, but it was bad sketches.
Sure. Well, and I'm sure we had a few bad ones back there too. No. A lot of them, I'm sure, but it was part of the growth, part of the process. But, so extremely fortunate to work with wonderful people at a church here in Tulsa, for many, many years.
Never going to say the name. We'll never say.
You want me to say that? Church on the Move?
Oh my God. Now the tension is released.
We can beep it out.
Yeah.
We'll beep it out.
Church on the, we just beep out one word.
Yeah.
Church on the beep.
Wonderful place. I still attend there. I also serve there, connected there, love the people there. Just don't work there anymore.
Yeah.
Vocationally.
Yeah. But you did for 22 years.
Yeah.
That's longer than I've done anything in my life.
Yeah.
Except for live.
I'm a loyal person.
Uh-huh.
And I believe in seeing things through, and I'm committed.
Give me a brief history of your life story.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. So like vocationally.
Sure.
Yes. I mean, we've already covered this. I worked at a church. No. So, out of high school.
Yeah.
I was working at Mazzio's Pizza.
Yeah, Mazzio, that's regional.
Which is a regional. Mazzio's Pizza is a local pizza place.
Yeah, we both worked there.
Pizza chain.
Yep, I worked there.
One of the best employees they ever had.
I was one of the worst. I literally stole from the store.
That's amazing.
I'll tell that story another time.
I secretly wished that they had an Mazzio's Olympics because I wanted to like compete against other people. You were so good at cutting the pizza. Because I was really good at cutting the pizzas and making the pizzas in a quick manner.
How many seconds?
I could cut a large pizza in less than 2 seconds.
You were
literally with my eyes closed.
What?
I tried it with my eyes closed.
That's amazing. And I can see even now you're proud of it.
And so humble about
25 years later.
Yeah. So it was working at Mazzio's. Then I started working at the church doing customer service. I was on the phones selling curriculum and puppets and all kinds of stuff to other churches and things like that.
The Green Family. That was the name of the puppets.
Yep. And then you got like a bonus Deputy Dugan. Or if you bought the super pack, you'd get a full body costume of Rover Comer.
I hope.
For free.
I just hope there's some old kids pastors listening to this. This is not a Christian podcast, but surely you've heard you know what Chris is talking about.
Anyway, so did that for several years. But while I was doing that, or actually right after high school, I started performing on the drama team for the youth group.
This is the early 90s.
Late 90s, like 96, 97.
Okay.
And was the best thing that ever happened to me because I was able to, I always grew up loving Saturday Night Live.
Oh yeah.
Jim Carrey, all that kind of stuff, but never really seriously considered like actually performing or doing these kinds of things. I would just like make my friends laugh or whatever. And so started, for the first time having like a stage to actually perform on, and just fell in love with it and just found that it was something that I was somewhat gifted in. And then I had an opportunity to just get a bunch of reps. So we would perform every Wednesday night. I would do sketches. We did that for, 4 or 5 years. And so got incredible experience.
In front of a lot of kids.
A lot of kids. Yeah. I mean, it grew to the point where we were doing two sketches or two kind of performances to the total of about, I think, 2,000 kids. I think there's like 1,000 kids in each.
That's more people than like most, like comics around here. If I said I performed in front of 2,000 people, I'd just be like,
yeah,
that'd be a dream.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And so then from there, I was working customer service during that time. And then they decided they wanted to start doing like sketches and comedy and stuff in our weekend services, like in our adult service. And so at that point, they started kind of a creative team, and then they asked me to be a part of that team. So I got my job kind of shifted from customer service into like actual more like creative, like a creative team who planned the services and planned creative moments and stuff like that for the services. And so I did that for many, many years.
Until last year.
Yeah. And that's where I just felt like God was calling me to stop working vocationally at the church and to step out into really what I feel like has just been in my heart is just sharing my gifts with the most people I can.
That's awesome.
And so that's really where I'm at is I'm just kind of trying to figure out how can I just kind of do what I've always done,
Yep.
but maybe open myself up to serve more people, and to, bring more joy to people. So,
but where does our friendship fit into this?
Yeah.
Because I feel like that's been lacking.
Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of focus on you, not as much focus on me.
Yeah. I feel like our friendship was a small blip.
It still is.
And still is.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, the only reason I'm sitting here is because you're paying me an enormous amount of money.
Yeah, that's right. I was like, when you come to my house and do a podcast with me, I've got a lot of money saved up.
Yeah.
Yeah. And now, and there's a good chance if you're listening to this podcast or watching it, you're watching it because you see Chris on TikTok or Instagram.
Yeah. Yeah. So do you want me talking about that?
Sure.
Yeah. So I don't know how podcasts work.
Here's what I'm hoping. And I went and listened to like the first episode of a bunch of podcasts that I listened to. The first episode is not great. I just want to hear the conversations. But it's weird if like you listen, like if you listen to a podcast for the first time, you're like, I don't know who these people are.
Yeah.
I don't have anything to connect with. And so I'm just trying to get the introductions out of the way.
Great.
I already know all this stuff about you.
Of course.
And I stopped caring a long time ago.
Exactly. So stepped out from working vocationally at the church and started doing more like stand-up stuff, which I don't have a lot of background in stand-up comedy. I have a lot more, experience in sketches and things like that and doing characters, acting. And so was having fun with stand-up, but kind of came to a point where a friend of mine was just going like, you really should think about doing stuff on social media. Like, I think I think you'd be like perfect for something like that. And
You've always liked doing characters.
I've always loved doing characters.
Yeah.
And with social media though, I was just kind of like, there's a part of me that I don't know how I feel about that just because, I don't know how healthy social media is for our society just as a whole. It's like, do I want to be a part of that? And so I don't know, I kind of came to grips with it of just feeling like, okay, I'm not going to post like 3 times a day or any of that. Like I'm hopefully not creating addicts, but I'll post every couple of days or whatever, every few days. And hopefully we'll just see what happens. And so I, growing up in the church, Pastor Bobby is a character that I do. That's a pastor, obviously. And, he's a conglomerate of just tons of different personalities and people I've seen over the years and just had experience with. And so, I do a pastor character, and then Steven Stevens is a character that actually the name Steven Stevens was and the voice was a character that I used to do back in youth group years and years ago. And then just kind of mixed in like this desire to be loved and this desire to meet a woman and all that kind of stuff, and put that into like this idea of being on Tinder. But so just, started posting these guys. And then, obviously the country music singer, Ricky Rhodes, was another character, but I was just kind of throwing stuff out there just to see what happened. And Pastor Bobby was doing fine. I was getting some stuff, and then I added, Steven Stevens, and it just kind of exploded after that.
on TikTok specifically.
On TikTok specifically.
Yeah.
So,
well, you had like your first video hit 1 million views, huh?
Yeah. So I had, up to that point, I think the most views I had on a video was, I don't know, maybe 10,000 or something like that. I forget. And then Stevens hit, and in like a 2-day period, it went like to 750,000 views. And it really freaked me out, actually. Oh. And then just because then there was all these comments and all this stuff, and and that feeling of being misunderstood or just like not being able to control how people are seeing you. Mm-hmm. It was just a really like unnerving feeling. And working at a church and performing in front of church audiences for so many years, I feel like I really understood my audience and everybody knew me. And so there was like, everybody kind of knew where I was coming from. Mm-hmm. And so I was kind of blindsided by the feeling of like putting stuff out online and it being seen by, 1 million people. Yeah. Just very quickly, like going, oh my gosh, these people don't know who I am. And like, they're reading things into stuff that I wasn't intending to say.
And they're like making like videos like in response.
Making response videos and taking the joke further in directions I wasn't intending it to go or whatever. And it was just, it made me very uncomfortable. And And to the point where I was just kind of like, I don't know if I want to do this character anymore. And the more I just kind of thought about it and the more talked with my friends about it, we were like, well, I just kind of came to grips with it. And so then started to do more of them. And it's been an amazing character for me.
Yeah. And I think that the Pastor Bobby one, you're like, that's the one that kind of can get like the most misunderstood because it's kind of making fun of
like
part of Christianity.
Yeah. Pastor Bobby, I'm definitely, I guess you could say I'm making fun of Christians, but I am a Christian. And so I think it's really healthy to be able to laugh at ourselves. I mean, I think that's a huge part of my just outlook on life is just like, man, I think the sign of humility is, can you actually laugh at yourself and not take yourself so seriously? And so that's the cart from which I'm kind of approaching Pastor Bobby is it's like, we laugh about stuff that we've heard pastors say or things that I've said or things that over spiritualizing things or, whatever. So I don't know. I look at it more like, I'm laughing with Christians. But a lot of people on TikTok are just like, oh, this guy gets it. Religion sucks. And
God's the worst.
Yeah. God's the worst. Yeah. And, I hate the church and this guy's finally, and so you're just kind of like, well, I've just come to peace with, I don't necessarily feel an obligation to every room I walk into to go, hey, everybody, just so you know, I'm a Christian. And so I don't make that super clear, like in my bio or anything like that.
Yeah.
It is on my website, but on my bio, I'm not just feeling like, hey, just so you know, this is where I'm coming from. Like, I just like
the Most High.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, exactly. So I just like, I just want to throw the work out there and see how it resonates with people on its own merit and not.
That's good.
And so I'm kind of just having to learn how to be okay with being misunderstood and people taking things a way that I wasn't intending or whatever.
Well, I've got a long list of things that I think about you. They probably are going to disagree with.
Yeah, I'm sure.
I want to talk about after the podcast.
Can I just comment? I just had a sip of this. You have such nice things at your house. This is this glass feels wonderful in my hand. And there's like a wonderful just edge on this that I drink out of like kids' cups or like
Do you really?
a Yeti mug. I usually use I have like a Yeti mug that I use at my house, but there's kids' cups everywhere. And I don't know, like our glasses are like, I think we still have a few glasses left from like our wedding.
How long ago did you get married?
I got 20 years, 19 years, 20 years in
You still
January.
have glasses from when you got married?
Absolutely.
That doesn't surprise me at all. And also that's so sad. Buy some new glasses.
Yeah, I guess
that is so you.
It is amazing.
Di and I regularly will just be like,
what do you do if they're still working? You just throw them in the trash?
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
This perfectly good glass. I'm tired of this. I'm tired of it. I'm going to throw it in the trash.
No, it's so true. We do it all the time.
I'm going to put this in a landfill somewhere because I'm tired of it.
Yeah. 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 Well, hey, but you know what? Anybody coming to your house and commenting on your glass?
No, that's true.
You want to ask me about me?
I want to know. I'm dying. I'm on the edge of my seat.
What's up with Adam? Transition. You want to ask me about me? Jeez.
Learning how podcasts work.
Or how to be a human. Like, we've got a funny joke. Our friend Jordan does this thing regularly where he'll go say something like, anyone have something cool happen today? I'll go first. and I love it so much.
Yeah, you just got to get your own story out there.
Yeah. Anybody have a cool story? I've got one.
Adam, you got a cool story?
Oh, you know what? I've got one.
You go perfect. Go.
No, we know each other because we went to the same church for a long time.
That's right.
I mean, we still go to the same church, but I started working at a church when I was 24 years old, and I worked in a children's ministry. And then like a few years into it, you and I kind of got connected because you were doing dramas and I was kind of writing like kids sketches and stuff. And you didn't like me. I think that was very
a little
clear.
much out of the gate. You were a lot.
What is it?
Well, you tried out for the drama team.
I did try out for the drama team.
And I thought you were great.
I was pretty forceful about it.
But then you started leaving messages on my voicemail.
Yep.
As a character.
Yep.
Which actually I thought was really funny. But
yeah. Bill Pilson was
Bill Pilson.
He was my agent.
What about that Adam guy? He's pretty good.
I think I would. It's a ripoff of something from SNL, but I would call you up and be like, Chris Munch, Bill Pilson here. Hey, how's it going? That Adam Bush is aces. Am I right?
Yeah, right.
So give me a call.
Yeah.
Yeah. So silly.
It was fun.
Yeah. But yeah, so.
It wasn't that I didn't like you. I just.
Well, you told me that whenever you and Gary like would invite me up to your office to maybe write something, you were always annoyed with me because my computer was always dead.
That is true. That is true. That was years though, a little bit into our knowing of each other.
Right.
Yeah, it was just sometimes frustrating. It would be just like we called a meeting and then like we get to the meeting and then you're like, oh crap, my computer.
I would always be like, anybody got a charger?
Anybody got a charger? Let me. Hold on, just give me a couple minutes. I'm gonna go find a charger, and then you just go into somebody else's office and steal it there. So then I found one.
You're just like,
okay,
what's that person gonna do? What's that person gonna do now?
Everybody's time.
Yeah, yeah. But then we became friends.
Yeah,
like in around 2013 or so, and like, we were gonna write a movie together.
That's right.
We would. It was just an excuse to hang out every Monday night. I would come over and we'd write a movie. Mm-hmm. The plot was, Hollywood. Was it? It wouldn't. They're not ready for that plot that we had, and but then so I worked at a church kind of off and on for about 15 years, and you and I always kind of worked side by side for a while. You were my boss.
Yeah,
we did like storytelling together.
Yeah,
I was a terrible employee. It's not a joke. I'm not a team player. I think that's clear. I kind of do what I want, and I'll just be gone for large amounts of time.
Yeah. Where's Adam? I don't know.
Yeah. He's
only got one vehicle.
Yeah.
So he's got to take.
He's got to take Dice, and then I think he flies to New York.
And then he's going to be in New York for a couple of days. And then, okay.
So much. Yeah. But then the turning point for me, which kind of went alongside just sort of your journey, was I wasn't doing stand-up, but I won back in 2018 a contest on Instagram to open up for comedian Mike Birbiglia on Broadway. Do you remember the day?
Oh my gosh.
It was amazing.
I'll never forget when you got the message. You were upstairs right
where we work.
And I just remember Adam just like going, like he just like screamed so loud.
I don't know that I've ever been more excited.
It was so fun.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
I was jumping. I never jump. I'm terrible at jumping. I remember jumping and yelling that I won because they notified me on Instagram.
Yeah, it was so cool.
Yeah. So I went to New York. I opened for Mike with one of his bits. Ira Glass, which is my storytelling hero from This American Life. It was a dream come true because I've listened to Mike for so long, and I've listened to Ira for so long, for the two of them to come together and
it was incredible.
This kind of thing that you never like, don't meet your heroes. It was amazing. And opened up for Mike, and then started a stand-up journey from there because I liked it so much. I had performed at the church with you or with like around together. I had performed at the church, and the church that we go to is very large. So like 2,000 people could be in the auditorium.
For just one of the services.
Yeah, for just one of the services.
Yeah, right.
So, and the Court Theater, which is now called the James Earl Jones Theater, it was like 1,100 people. So it wasn't like ridiculous feeling to do it. But I remember thinking like, if I write my own material, like I would really like to do this kind of just on the side.
Yeah, sure.
And I'm a writer, so it'll help me be a writer or whatever. So I came back to Tulsa and I started going to open mics and getting kind of just like for a year or two, just kind of getting into the comedy community. COVID hit during that time. And, but kind of at the end of COVID, it really ramped up because I started just like, I had all this free time in my hands just because work was a little slower. I would do these Zoom open mics with these guys in New York and LA and just like all over the country. And just was really starting to kind of fall in love with performing. And then churches would call me and ask me to do, hey, we come to a Christmas party, or I'd have a friend, or somebody would just be like, ask me to do, their men's events or something like that. And then after a while, I was like, I think that and then, I was doing it more. And then I got a call to get to film a Dry Bar special.
Right.
And
Yeah.
That was kind of like, for me, I had filmed a special just on my own, that the one that you and I did together, and it was fun. And it's on YouTube. You can watch it. It's a night of storytelling and comedy. But when I got my Dry Bar special, I was like, oh, okay. I think maybe I could go after this.
Do you remember like a moment where you were like, this is what I'm going to do? Was it Dry Bar, or was it like before? I feel like it was before that, wasn't it? Or
I think it was the life plan. So the short version of the story is my wife and I got gifted with a life plan, which is, it sounds super nerdy, but it's actually really nice.
Yeah.
And it's just, we went up to Las Vegas for 3 days with this coach, and he was just like, let's look at your gifts and your talents. We filled out 55 sheets. We're just like looking at our history, looking at the timeline of everything that we've done. And then you look at the next 5 years. And he was like, Adam, in your heart of hearts, what do you want to do? And I said, I want to be a stand-up comedian and write television shows.
Yeah.
And he was like, I think you need to head that way. And so I went back to the church, and I was like, I think my time is up. And and it was awesome, because there's a lot of bad transition stories, especially with churches. I transitioned out over 5 months.
Yeah.
And I got a new contract to write a new television show. And here we are.
Yeah.
My Dry Bar special hasn't come out yet, but I've seen it. It's great. And I filmed my next special in November.
It's awesome.
Yeah. So I'm a stand-up comedian, and you're an actor.
Yeah.
And that's the end of that part of our lives.
Yeah. And we'll never speak of that again from here on out.
And this podcast is if you like hanging out with us, you can hang out with us a little bit more.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. I love, shout out to Dustin Nickerson, who's a comic who I love. And I'm going to see him in a couple of weeks, film his special. And I love his podcast where you get to know about him and his wife and his family, and Nate Bargatze's podcast, and just Dusty Slay, all those podcasts where you get to get an inside look at people that you like. Yeah.
And I think even with this TikTok and all that stuff, it's these little tiny clips.
Yeah.
And, I want to share a little bit more of my life with whoever would be interested to know about it. But, I love connecting with people, and I love, I love just making connections with people, which is what I just said. I'm going to just say that again, because I can't think of another way to say it.
And we're best friends.
Just repeat it.
And our other best friend Gary is here.
Yeah.
You can't see him. He's
Garbo.
He helped with he's doing the camera thing. So I'm sure he'll be on. And you can be our best friend too.
Yeah. Let's do it.
All right.
We'll see you next time.
Love you.